Hashtag Real Race Talk. We are back. It is the Revved Up Sports Show on your Monday night. Bobby, great conversation right there with Ray and, of course, with Jason from the Lone Star Dwarf Car Club. A couple of different other racing notes. Man, Doug Rice stepping away. How about that, dude? Kind
36 years is a long time, though.
Man, I tell you, I kind of heard that maybe he was because he runs PRN. I mean, I think a lot of folks don't realize that Performance Racing Network. I mean, that is Doug Rice's thing. I mean, he's the president of that thing. So maybe kind of taking a step back to just kind of oversee things right there. But that's one of those voices where it's going to be weird to not have that on some of those NASCAR races.
Yeah, it's going to be different for sure. But I mean, the thing is, we're seeing a changing of the guard at some levels. You still got the same core group of NASCAR reporters that have been doing it for years that are still there around. But we've also come to see the next generation potentially coming up here with the next generation of play-by-play and reporters and stuff like that. So, obviously, SiriusXM has made some personnel changes. They need to make some more changes on the daytime lineup and get rid of some of these classic races in the afternoon, because that's not real fun to listen to. But
yeah, I know they're sitting there trying to work on all of that, and I will say, I mean, because it very much is. I mean, when it comes to NASCAR media, NASCAR reporting, it very much is it's a country club type of thing. I mean, they've got their own people. It's their own thing. I mean, I think drivers and owners and whatever, they're very comfortable talking to the same people. And we see that over and over. And, I know a lot of folks, I mean, I listen to Channel 90, I listen to Danielle Trotta is actually the main one that I want to listen to. But it's because she is kind of one of those to where she'll pull some punches. She's not so much, she doesn't walk the company line quite as much as some of those people do. And I know that that's part of the thing. I mean, when you're working for MRN, when you're working for NASCAR, you have to do that. But Dave does a really good job to where he can, he can kind of walk off the company line as well. But I mean, they're making some changes there that I think that they need to make. I mean, no offense to some of the folks that aren't there anymore, but I mean, some of the voices that you don't hear anymore, I think it's kind of one of those things to where it's like when we talk about Jerry Jones being kind of not so much a part of the Dallas Cowboys, I kind of like some of the moves that I'm seeing on SiriusXM channel 90.
Yeah, they need to make a few more changes, but I mean, I think part of it's just the consistency of it. You get so used to a regular. It's no different than when they changed the weekend lineup for us on the Horn. You just get so used to a lineup that's supposed to be there, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's not, and you're usually not given any explanation on why. But it's usually a good thing to know why. You'd like to know why, but you never just know, man. It's a very, very interesting way all this is set up now. So
yeah, and I didn't hear. I mean, I wasn't listening to the app or anything on Saturday with the Clash and all that. I don't know who was in the place of Claire B. Lang. I don't know who did any of that. And again, I'll be real honest with you. I think a lot of the Claire B. Lang was a little bit too much. It's like, okay, I mean, in the pre-race, she's told me this already. I don't need to hear it again. I don't know what they're doing with all of that. But again, they're trying to mainstream that because it's, you have to shift that stuff around. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who's doing what. But I got to tell you, and Mike Knott's checking in, I got to tell you, when it comes to dudes, and this is a guy that has evolved with the way that the media has. Jackie Arute is one of those guys to where you go back and you can listen to Jack 30 years ago. And Jack was one of those old school racing dudes. You listen to him now, and he's going to bust your balls just like he does in a very good way, with the way that racing is these days.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, he's Uncle Jackie's really fun to listen to when he fills in for Dave Moody every now and then. Cause Dave will put people in their place in a nice way sometimes. But he still toes that company line, but Dave's a good guy. If you want to find out how good of a guy he is, check out the archives there on the website. There was a chance that one night, Rodney and I got to talk shop with him on this particular show. So when you get a chance, go through the archives, see what all you got. You'd be surprised you might all you hear.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. A lot of good stuff right there. RevvedUpSportsShow.com. Go all the way below the live show, and you can hear all the archives. All right, Bob, before we get out of here, got to go down this road. We're probably going to lose everybody, but I'm extremely pissed off with the Formula One thing with the Andrettis. The whole reason that was given for this, you sit and you watch, it's the same fucking 3 cars every time at the front of the pack. To say that and the Andretti livery, the Andretti entry, whatever, could not be may not be competitive enough. Who is? 3.
Yeah, right?
3 of them are competitive enough. You got 3 of them, and I say that very loosely because it's 1 that's competitive enough. But the fact, and then the whole thing is where they totally, I mean, to me, Bobby, they cast shade at the Andretti name, and that's bullshit. I'm sorry. I mean, let's take out the fact that you and I have talked to Mario and different. I can call his office, and I ask for him, and he's like, Rodney, take that part out of there. And I'm name dropping right there. Yeah, I am, because I fucking love that dude. Give me a break. I mean, one more owner into the 10-man or whatever you want to call it, owners club. That is the biggest crock of shit that I have ever seen in motorsports. That I don't know if I'm going to watch Formula One this year, dude. That really pisses me off.
The pie doesn't get any bigger when you add on an 11th owner, so that's part of the problem. They can say that Andretti gets, of course, Andretti's going to get more benefit from Formula One than Formula One's going to get a benefit from Andretti. Where Formula One may be underestimating the power of Andretti is the number of more eyeballs it can get from the United States in terms of having a real U.S.-based Formula One team. Versus Haas over there, who, that's going to be his only way in is to buy Haas.
Well, that one's competitive. I mean, Andretti's not going to be competitive. Haas is competitive, isn't he?
No, not very much. Yeah, no, not Williams isn't that competitive anymore, but they got that Williams F1 name.
Well, and then you got the American right there, and that's what pisses me off the worst. And looking at the way everything happened last week, I've watched that Netflix thing all the way up until the final one. I haven't watched that one yet, but this is where, if I'm an American fan of Formula One, I'm like, come on, man. These people are sitting here poaching, getting you people to dive into this stuff. And here, the Andretti, 1978 world champion, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. Even if he ain't competitive, you are sitting here dipping into the American market. Fuck, you got 3 races happening in this country right now in some of the biggest markets: Austin, Las Vegas, and Miami. And you're going to shut these people out? I mean, it would be one thing, Bobby, if it were you and I trying to pull a team together with a bunch of deep pockets, but Andretti? Come on, man. That's insulting to me. I mean,
you think it's because his IndyCar program isn't up to par comparatively? I think if he was winning races in IndyCar like Chip Ganassi, you think they'd open up the door?
I don't think so. I mean, I think this is an inside thing right there to where they don't want them to be a part of it, because I think what they are seriously concerned about, that you get the Andrettis into Formula One. I've seen them dipping into Chicago, Bobby. I have seen Formula One trying to get trademarks into Chicago, trying to maybe dabble in that market as well. Maybe a 4th race. What happens when you get the Andretti name into Formula One and then they really dive into the United States? Where are people going to want to be? I mean, they're going to want to dive into that. And that's where that whole club, they're going to lose some money. And I think it's a sham. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm sorry. That one, it takes a lot to really piss me off. But when I saw that, and the whole thing is, Michael has busted his ass to make this happen. And you know what they did? They did the old high school tease thing. They're like, okay, yeah, come on. And then boom. Nope, maybe in 28. I'm like, fuck you. I'm putting my money in IndyCar if I'm them. I mean, go to IndyCar. I mean, just spend your money there if I'm them. I mean, screw that shit. Oh, God.
Because GM wants into Formula One because Ford's coming.
I know. And that's where, I mean, when you look at
that Ford ain't going to be building that engine. All that's going to be is a Red Bull Racing Technology Honda engine with a Ford sticker on it.
And the worst part was, when you go back and you read that whole release, The name would not bring value to the series. Come on, man. That's like, how about if AJ Foyt wanted to start a NASCAR team? No, we're not going to bring him in. His name wouldn't bring any value to the series. Give me a break, dude. This is an inside thing, man. They are purposely trying to put these guys out. And again, it would be one thing, if Logan Sargent was out here burning down the track and doing all this other shit, I'd be like, okay, Williams. I mean, they're doing a good job. They want to be the American presidents, or maybe Haas. They want to be the American president. They fucking suck too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And then that's the whole thing about this. That's where last week to me was so interesting. So you had all of that happening with the Netflix thing dropping, and you had a lot of folks watching that, and NASCAR kind of trying to dip into that as well. I still say NASCAR's too late to the party with that because Formula One beat them to it, although the NASCAR thing is better. But so you have that happening. Then you have the Andretti thing happening. And then, well, I'll be damned. Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari in 2025.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where, and this is where the new Formula One race fans in America don't understand, to where I'm like, go watch IndyCar racing, dive into IndyCar racing, give your love to IndyCar racing. They're totally going to be bought into Checo Perez and Charles Leclerc. And I'll tell you the story's going to be now. I mean, what is Carlos Sainz going to do? Now that Carlos Sainz is going to be out of a job, what's he going to do? I mean, that's going to be the big story now. And people are just going to continue buying into that. And I'm on that boat where I'm like, I'm extremely pissed and disappointed in Formula One. I mean, you can't leave the Andrettis out for those reasons. Not competitive. Lots of them that aren't competitive. The name brings no validity. What? Come on, man.
You must have read Eddie. He must have read Eddie Gossage's tweet. Took it to heart.
No, I didn't. I just read the statement. I just read what they said, and that's what did he say? Damn it! I wish I could pull that up.
That's what he said. Basically, the same thing you did.
Well, we're old bitter dudes. We are old bitter dudes. To me, the biggest insult to me is the name brings nothing. That I mean. To see Mario Andretti tweet out, "I'm devastated," dude. That's like a kick in the balls. Jeez Louise, man.
He's got some good stuff that he's talking about. You got to go back and check the page, his tweet page, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it now. He's got some stuff about TWS versus TMS.
Oh, who does? Eddie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I will have to check that out. But yeah, I thought that was pretty shitty. So anyway, back to the Clash. Where do you go with that, Bobby? I mean, back to Daytona. Do you take it abroad? Do you take it, or just get rid of it? I mean, that's the other thing. I heard Denny Hamlin talking about I saw something on his detrimental thing, to where it's like, just get rid of it and let us test more at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. But TV's not going to want to get rid of a free race like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. That's eyeballs on the sport. Once again, there is your QR code if you want to dive into the Revved Up Sports Show site. Hit that little thing right there. It'll take you right there. Here is the spot to go to on-demand shirts. Like I said, you're going to have your online store set up very, very soon, to where you'll be able to